establishment Democrat politician blob is seeing that as a massive threat. And they have to, even though no one's actually really, as far as I can tell, defunding the police or, more importantly, funding the stuff that would decrease crime otherwise.
Yeah.
They have to punish it. So I guess they're sticking Bill Maher and Pierce Morgan first because they started with their C team. But I imagine we'll get the C plus team. We'll have Van Jones. We're still in the C team, but we'll get to the B team. I don't know. Will we get like Susan Sarandon? I don't know.
If they had a B team, maybe they would have done better in the last election. Oprah.
You tear down the house, then you put up the rent. You pocket the cash, and you crush all dissent.
Hello and welcome to the Red Diaper Pail, episode 50. Today is August 9th, 2026, and this is a podcast about art, culture, history, politics, technology, and parenting from a left perspective, and my name is Simone.
And I'm John Paul.
What do you get someone for their 50th episode?
A good night's sleep.
You anticipate getting one of those? It's the Golden Jubilee. Well, if this was like our 50th year, it would be the Golden Jubilee.
Oh, okay.
But we're counting episodes, so it's our golden episode.
Okay.
So you could get gold jewelry, sentimental photo books, according to the AI, would also be.
I can turn our logo a gold color.
50 episodes, which is quite a few more than we thought we'd do.
I think it is, yeah. We're almost at a full year, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, not till October. Somehow.
Oh, yeah, because we did extra episodes.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, congratulations on making it 50. I think it's a pretty cool podcast we got going on here. It's definitely my favorite.
If you agree, like and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And review on your podcast platform of choice.
Indeed. All of the algorithm interventions help us. And
a shout out to we had one new Substack paid subscriber this week.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So shout out to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Am I naming this person?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. But we're starting to see people that, not just people we know and not just people who know people we know, but people beyond that. So that's pretty cool.
Yes, unless you know us and we forgot that we know you, in which case, apologies.
Mm-hmm.
Just drop us a message and
correct.
Let us know who you are. Okay, well, we're going to get right into horrible headlines.
Got some good ones. It's been I feel like it's been a slow week since El Sayed. I think everyone got
Sayed. I guess we said his name wrong the whole time.
Oh God, really?
Apologies to our listeners.
And to El Sayed, who probably doesn't want people mispronouncing his name on boutique podcasts.
I don't think he probably has an opinion on that. Okay. It has been I haven't been paying as much attention to the news because I've been spending the time away from work and away from having any Wi-Fi or cellular access. So I'm living a blissful existence, but I did do some research. So apparently Trump is denying U.S. munitions shortages while also threatening long-term jail sentences for those who are leaking information about it. HuffPost says, Trump trashes reports of U.S. munitions shortages. Quote, long-term jail sentences will be sought. The U.S. has massive amounts of munitions, especially of certain types, he says.
like machine gun rounds?
Yeah. The types he's talking about are like the ones from the Army men set from like 1954.
Right.
President Donald Trump is denying that the U.S. is running low on key munitions as the war in Iran drags on and is threatening to jail those who are the sources for those who report about this issue.
Mm-hmm.
These reports says the sources of these reports are raising concerns about the potential of U.S. vulnerabilities and they should be jailed. Those leakers of these treasonous statements are being hunted down. Long-term jail sentences will be sought.
Yikes.
Earlier this week, Reuters and other outlets reported that the U.S. has nearly run out of highly accurate long-range missiles. This is, of course, with citing unnamed sources.
Yeah.
Reuters also noted that some of those munitions have already played a crucial role in the Ukrainian war, allowing Kiev to strike targets inside of Russia.
I think it's called Kyiv now.
How are we saying Kiev?
Kiev is the imperial pronunciation, the Russian imperialist pronunciation.
What's the communist pronunciation?
Russia.
Leningrad. Kyiv. It's allowing Kyiv to strike targets inside Russia and would also be very helpful in a potential conflict with China. But we don't need those. And we have those. We might have those. We might have others that are better or worse, but we have many of those others. And should you say anything about this, we will have to hang you in the square.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Someone has to explain to me how you can commit espionage by making something up and telling the news about it. It doesn't sound like espionage to me.
Is it treason if it's complete lies?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be treason if it's with the intention of undermining the United States. But anyway, I thought it was less about the long-range missiles and more about the Patriot interceptors. They've been using these to shoot down Iranian counterattacks, with a focus on Israel, obviously, and that they're like they were in the thousands and now they're down to like 800 or so, which means like that was also something they were going to allow the Ukrainians to build, because the progress that they have been making recent in the war is kind of dependent upon the Russian escalation in response isn't really effective at tearing apart their civilian centers. And the Patriots are the way to prevent that, and they're all running low, and the Trump administration was going to let them start producing their own with the patent, but that's years away from being useful, and I think that Trump even like pulled back on that. So it's a huge problem, and it exposes this like the United States has to maintain its security guarantees for the Gulf states, or the Gulf states are going to find other ways of dealing with their problems than relying on the United States. And that will also mean that they will make other oil arrangements with other countries, not the United States. But their priority has to be Israel. So Iran is like very effectively kind of splitting, like showing this like tension between like you think the United States cares about you, but the only thing they really care about in the region is your oil and Israel, and they will let you die if push comes to shove, and they don't have the power to protect everyone at the same time, which is true.
Apparently, also he and Hegseth clashed during cabinet meetings at Camp David last week. The Washington Post reports that his frustration over Iran boiled over at Camp David, where he demanded answers from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on why he had apparently been misled on extreme munitions shortages that now threaten to limit military options. Two sources familiar with the exchange told the Post. The encounter took place on the sidelines of his cabinet meeting at Camp David on Friday, where Trump vented at Hegseth that he thought the munitions issue had been, quote, fixed, according to people familiar with this conversation. The shortages, particularly in long-range guided missiles and air defense interceptors, have been part of the reason Trump has pulled back from launching massive strikes against Iran. Trump said Monday that he had, in fact, ordered and subsequently called off the, quote, biggest attack since World War II, pending claims of new negotiations over the strait. After the Post story was published, Trump asserted overnight that the U.S. indeed have massive amounts of munitions.
Yeah. I mean, I understand.
Hegseth, in keeping with who he is, threw a deputy under the bus.
Yeah.
And said he thought that deputy had been keeping him in the loop. In the loop about what, though? The munitions being short?
How would you not know what oh, yeah, I work here. I don't know how many long-range missiles we have left. When I advise you to strike Iran, I actually don't know how many missiles we have. I pray to God that Hegseth gets blamed for this. He would really serve him right to be the fall guy for this whole thing. And more than Trump, I want Hegseth to crash and burn. But the reason they pulled back on the massive attack was because Saudi Arabia asked them to, which I think underlines what's really going on here. Is the Saudis are like, this is fucking our shit up, and it's not helping. The U.S. intelligence released a report saying that they didn't think any bombing would affect the negotiations at all, and that was at the end of July. So this is all of this is bluster and for show and just wasteful. I'm half surprised not to have seen China make a move on Taiwan with the United States this depleted.
Yeah. They are better at patience than the West.
Yeah. They are playing the long game, and boy, are they playing it well.
They are.
Meanwhile, these stupid U.S. oil companies are like, well, we're making a ton of money, so maybe we should keep doing this. It's like, you idiots.
Well,
like you're going to have no money in 10 years
when
if
it
you
comes,
keep acting this way.
If all you can do is govern yourself based on quarterly earnings reports, you end up being a big idiot. Okay, this is rawstory.com reporting that Trump targets children to boost mass deportation numbers, says suit. The Trump administration is deliberately targeting unaccompanied immigrant children for rapid deportations as part of a push to boost removal numbers, a new federal lawsuit contends. The Jewish Family and Community Services of Pittsburgh, JFCS, and 6 immigrant clients have teamed up to sue the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, and USCIS in Pennsylvania. The suit alleges children are being repatriated, quote, as a means to increase deportation numbers despite qualifying for protections to remain in the U.S. legally under a special immigrant juvenile status or a T non-immigrant status for trafficking survivors. So essentially, they've selected an extremely vulnerable population, unaccompanied minors, who are like the most likely population to be trafficked. And they are deporting them as quickly as possible, so their numbers are good. That's what the suit contends.
Demons. They're demons.
They're demons.
These are people who believe in God, by the way.
They say they do.
They believe that God made all human beings in his image, and they're really
They
against
don't
child trafficking. They really don't like that.
They don't believe that God actually made all these humans in his image. They can't possibly, because you can't treat other people that way if you think that.
Yep.
They just think that they're supremacists. They must believe God only made some of the races and some of the people of the certain races, white men.
Or it's like a Calvinist thing where, like, if you belonged in this country, God would have put you here. Like, if you were divinely blessed.
I love that, where it's like there's just no agency or choice. It's just like, this wouldn't be happening if God didn't will it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would if I was supposed to be not a dick, I'd be not a dick, but I am a dick, so God must love it.
I don't imagine that these people will end up in jail, but it will be nice to hear the discovery if they get discovery going and the media actually reports on it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, here's one that's maybe not horrible. I mean, it's about a horrible thing, but it's perhaps a positive thing about a horrible thing. This is Al Jazeera. Israeli prosecutors have charged the settler with reckless manslaughter over the killing of Palestinian activist Adwa Hathaleen in the occupied West Bank, in the first such indictment of an Israeli in more than 7 years. This indictment against Yinon Levy, filed in an Israeli district court on Thursday, also includes charges of armed trespassing and malicious property damage. Hathaleen, a 31-year-old teacher and father of 3, was killed in July when settlers brought excavators into a village to level land for a new and illegal outpost, sparking a confrontation with residents. Videos, including footage filmed by Hathaleen himself, showed Levy firing shots towards the crowd, a crowd that included children.
I mean, why? I mean, I thought the whole point was they're rubbing in your face that they can act with impunity, and this is not that different than. I mean, I guess it's a little bit more high profile.
It's higher profile. It's This guy was a big deal filmmaker, especially at the time, because he just won an Oscar. So I do wonder if this was like a little bit of some throwing as a bone.
Or like, yeah, give the appearance of like, obviously when, people throw around these accusations all the time, but when something real happens, we prosecute. Or maybe this guy just like would not get with the program. He's like, if you let me, I'm going to kill again. Can't wait to. Which is I guess the attitude of a lot of these folks is give me a chance and I will burn it while grove to the ground and stomp on an old lady's head. You heard about what happened to Ro Khanna when he was there?
No.
So you remember that Jeremy Scahill gave him the 3rd degree about whether the Palestinians have a right to defend themselves. That was because Ro Khanna had just gotten back from the West Bank, where he and his team had been stopped by settlers who were like threatening them and harassing them, and the IDF showed up and sided with the settlers.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, a little surprised they did it to Ro Khanna, but there's plenty of Western, like American journalists, low-level politicians from European countries that go over there, and they don't give a shit. They like, and all of the things that are supposed to be in place, like the diplomats or the people who are supposed to make sure that the citizens of their country don't get treated like shit by other countries, like silence.
Yep.
And the IDF or whatever the local policing always come in and side with the settlers.
Yep.
Oftentimes they see that there's violence and they turn and go the other direction, then come back a few hours later. Yinon Levy, so the other thing that's possible is like this guy might just have been is like maybe a problem for them. I mean, I think they want these like vicious attackers as in this useful politically for them, and certainly that's what the settlers are doing. But this guy has a real history of violence, and it's not the first time he's been there's been some, I don't know if it's legal, I don't know exactly if there's been some legal documentation of his high degree of violence and confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is not like
Yeah, a lot of
kind
these
of
people are known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a documented pattern that he's a leader of it. And I don't know if it was just like, oh, we should indict him because it's so obvious and it's so high profile and it won't really matter. But this is the first time this guy is actually facing any real criminal charges.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that no one has been charged with anything in 7 years is outrageous.
Right. I know.
Completely outrageous. And also to like, oh, it's an illegal settlement. They're all illegal settlements. They're doing it in front of everyone's face. If you want, just as a side note, if you want eyewitness accounts of what these settlers and the IDF get up to in the West Bank and what they get away with, in case you are tempted to believe that obviously they're only indicting people who do wrong things.
Drop site news.
The drop site news is great. I was going to say there's one journalist whose name is Jasper Nathaniel, who writes a subset called Infinite Jazz, who goes over and does eyewitness accounts, and his accounts are like mind bending of like what the differential and like how people are treated by the authorities and stuff. It is crazy what they get up to and what they do to him. He's a Jewish American.
He's an American
journalist.
Jew. Yeah. Yep.
And what the settlers do to him and the IDF does to him is crazy.
And actually, I think the first time I heard him interviewed was Drop Site News potentially, but yeah, he's exactly who you should follow. And what you think of the most extreme behaviors are what they're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just disgusting. Okay, how about this? New Mexico sues Justice Department over withholding Epstein files. New Mexico has sued the DOJ for blocking access to unredacted Epstein investigative files in the Zorro Ranch criminal probe. This is from the New Mexico Department of Justice. Today, which was August 5th, 2026, the New Mexico Department of Justice filed a federal lawsuit against Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche and the U.S. Department of Justice, asking the court for access to unredacted related investigative files that the U.S. DOJ has been withholding. These files and documents are critical to New Mexico's ongoing criminal investigation into alleged crimes at the Jeffrey Epstein Zorro Ranch in Santa Fe County. New Mexico's complaint alleges that the federal government has refused, without adequate legal justification, to share records that could help investigators identify witnesses, corroborate evidence, or determine the full scope of the crimes that occurred in New Mexico. Therefore, the filing suggests that the U.S. DOJ is obstructing the state's ability to fully investigate crimes within its own jurisdiction. The complaint says Epstein used Zorro Ranch regularly for more than 25 years, and that publicly released files contain thousands of references to New Mexico and its ranch. It also alleges that federal records include evidence of grooming, trafficking, sexual abuse, and other misconduct tied to this property and to the individuals associated.
Why can't the New Mexico state authorities just go with like equipment and check the ground for bodies? Like what is with all the why do they need the documents to like do an investigation?
I don't know. I don't know if I mean, I imagine they can investigate the property. I imagine the properties are even seized, and they are, but I don't know what the documents are going to get them. They're only asking, I mean, the filing is asking the court to declare the stonewalling unlawful, to order the DOJ to provide the files unredacted, and that's it. It's not reflecting on their access to the property.
Okay. So they need the files to actually do a proper investigation.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, or they're just forcing to get more files into the public eye. But this ranch is like, if there was some really bad shit, and I guess we already talked about how they were probably moving drugs through this ranch as well. But if they were up to some like the really bad stuff, like the killing people and etc., then there would be evidence at the ranch. So
well, they searched the Zorro Ranch in March 2026 with the New Mexico State Police and county assistance, with cooperation from the current property owners.
I think it's time to move.
Yeah. You think it's probably past bad for your real estate value?
We would go somewhere where who will buy it from us.
The current owners are the family of Don Huffines, a former Texas state senator who won the GOP primary for Texas controller. It was the estate sold to him in 2023.
The estate, the Epstein estate sold
Epstein's estate sold it to him in 2023.
Okay, look into this, man. Are you crazy?
Why'd you pick this ranch?
Deal. What do you want?
So they do have access to the federal.
Can you imagine? Oh my god.
I suppose they just can't complete their investigation without access to the files.
I guess so.
That's what's happening.
I guess so.
They're feeling blocked.
No, well, they are blocked, and we all know why.
Just got to keep Epstein in the on the radar here. So
Yeah.
doing our due
Do our
diligence.
duty to ignore Iran and focus on Epstein.
Yeah.
We will not be distracted.
But we will be distracted by the TikTok trial of the year.
Okay.
So I don't know if your feed has been inundated, but the Lindsay Clancy trial is like fully filmed. Like the whole thing is just available.
Except for the actual murder itself. Oh, the trial.
The trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is with that?
I don't know how that's allowed, but it's like watching the Johnny Depp thing again. It's like every single minute, and of course TikTok and Instagram is like for every minute of trial, there's like, we should look this up, but there's got to be 1,000 minutes of. There's got to be more. I mean, it just produces an enormous amount of content. So Lindsay Clancy has not taken the stand, but if you're not familiar with this horrible story, but the Massachusetts mother accused of killing her 3 children. This week in the trial, she didn't testify yet. Her husband has testified. Tons of her doctors have testified. Her kid's pediatrician testified because she had brought her kid to the pediatrician that morning. Friends have testified. She's visibly sobbed and shaken during testimony. Her diary entries have been read out loud. It's really good TV, and it's creating an enormous amount of social media content. And my feed is completely convinced that her husband did it and framed her, which I didn't see coming. But now I'm like, maybe that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of content on my feed too that are like, we need to take care of postpartum people. This should never happen. And then there's a lot of people on my feed that are also big fans of her defense attorney, who does seem kind of like a badass. But I don't know. I feel like this is the biggest news event ever because it's literally all I see now when I scroll at night. It's just
It doesn't come up
take
across
after
mine
take
at
after
all.
take of Lindsay Clancy trial.
I guess TikTok must have paid the U.S. government, must have paid them $500 million to make sure this ended up on video so they could have all the TikTok content.
No kidding.
I guess the thing about this that strikes me is how deeply feeling so many mothers are towards this woman. I think because there's something universal about this, the horror of this, and the I don't know. There's something recognizing in this woman something that's part of motherhood that is foreign to me. Not all women are murders, but there's something the weight of being responsible for other living people and the pressures that puts on you, and what that does to the psyche. And I think it seems to me that so many mothers in particular are very easy to perspective take on her behalf, which I think is really fascinating. And I think it probably does speak to I don't understand postpartum depression. I don't understand it as an experience. I don't understand it from an evolutionary point of view, or it's a very specific but well documented phenomenon that's part of human beings' motherhood. I don't know. I could speculate that it's contextual and in different contexts where you're living in multi-generational tribes. It doesn't feel as
well, it's far less dangerous if that's the case.
Yeah,
I think
guess
mostly
that's
it's
true.
just hormones crashing out can cause really significant mental distress.
Yeah.
And if the context was more supportive, it would probably matter a lot less.
Yeah. I think there's a healing that is on the table with this, and I guess there's a fantasy that it's his fault, because that would be something I feel like every woman watching this who identifies with her would sort of feel a sense of relief of their own absolution, which I think is wrong. You don't need this person to be innocent for you to be absolved of the guilt of whatever dark thoughts or things that you had to carry.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't see it like that. I guess I see it seems very obvious to me why most women perspective take with her, because I do think that, well, she was completely failed. The society completely failed her, which is no news. and failed her children and failed her husband, which is not, of course, news but every postpartum woman is failed by our society. And all young children and mothers are largely failed by our society. So this is not.
In fact,
that's
a lot
not
of
news.
women are failed a lot worse.
Well, right, but this woman was. So I think there was a complete failure. There's a lot of political points to make about the lack of support for families and mothers.
Sure.
She was experiencing what was probably a complete psychotic break. Like she had postpartum psychosis, which is very, very scary and also much less common than postpartum depression and anxiety. And postpartum depression and anxiety, which lots of people have elements like intrusive thoughts, which is why I think women associate. They're like, I had that. They're like, they know they didn't have what she had, but they feel like I can see how I don't really think it's even on a spectrum. I think when you get into the psychosis stuff, it is a different thing. But I think that the stuff that occupies your brain when you have babies is the same stuff that either makes you very anxious or in the case if you're psychotic, makes you psychotic. So there's like echoes of familiarity in the content of what was going on with her, which is why I think that people are sympathetic to her. And they're so mad that the systems are so fucked. She was prescribed 13 different psychiatric medications by different providers, psychiatrists, nurse practitioners, ER doctors, and inpatient staff in the 4 months leading up to the killings. She was also issued more than 30 prescriptions between September 2022 and January 2023. This woman is a labor and delivery nurse. She is a white, middle to upper class, educated medical professional. So she's the most able to potentially advocate for herself and navigate a medical situation. Mm-hmm. And she was given 13 different psychiatric medications, including probably the psychiatric medications that caused her to fucking kill her kids. Apparently she was in the midst of weaning off one of them that was causing her to have what she felt to be extremely dark thoughts.
Oh, jeez.
She was reaching out for help, including to her husband, who did not seem to be able to be very helpful.
I think we can all agree that whatever happens in this trial, it was the man's fault.
No, I mean, I think what people are mad about is that you want to believe that something like this can't happen. And it rarely happens. So this is why this is the celeb trial of the year or the decade. It rarely happens that these horribly atrocious things, but they do happen. They are very newsworthy. She's a very sympathetic victim because of being a white upper middle class. I mean, like,
yeah, right.
And you want to figure out how it's not true. So, but I don't think people at least I'm not reading the advocates for her on TikTok as wanting their own absolution as much as they wish it wasn't true and feel mad that the systems in place are such shit. So that's why they don't want it to be true. They want they're directing their rage towards that and looking for maybe she was further let down by the system because the police didn't investigate him. The fucking people that were supposed to check the DNA of the blood didn't do that. Just incompetence and lack of support and systems not helping you one after another, after another, after another.
Yeah.
That's, I think, I think that's the story.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be careful about this because I actually don't have any feelings of but what if about the guy? But I think it's notable that for a lot of people, it's a much more satisfying story if he is the culprit. And no one is going to say, look at all the ways the system failed him. That is not going to be part of the narrative. It is a necessary part of the narrative when she is the one who is culpable.
Yeah.
And I think that's because a lot of people identify with her and also identifies with the ways that she was failed by society and by the people closest to her. But there's not going to be perspective taking about him. I mean, there's not even perspective taking about him being not very helpful to her.
Well, I understand. I do understand. I think that people with young children and postpartum families are failed in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think men are different.
Yeah. They certainly don't have more resources, mental and emotional resources than women do in those circumstances.
Well, but they ought to because they're not literally postpartum.
I'm not making any commentary on what men ought to have. I'm simply observing that they don't.
No, they don't. And that's infuriating. I think that would it be more satisfying if it was him? I don't know. I mean, there's this also there's an element of the sensationalizing of these trials. And I don't even and you're getting tidbits that you're not even sure true. And you're just going with the conspiracy theories. And boy, are they rampant on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm sure you poll most people, they have no idea what the facts of the case actually are. because it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Which I guess is its own
I mean,
problem.
this is what Candace Owens has done with a lot of this stuff. Is like you create a fascination by making it a big puzzle you have to solve, and then you had to tune into the next reel because the next reel
Right.
is going to explain how I arrived at this conclusion, how I know about that thing, and now
Well,
you're going to know something that no one else does about the shoes he was wearing.
yeah, I don't even
and-
know if it's true, but the CVS was 3 minutes away, but it took him 13 minutes, and his shoes changed. Her body temperature was weirdly low. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Her Apple Watch was on. It was off. He sent it. The Wi-Fi was down, but he sent an email. I mean, there's questions. I mean, this is what a good defense attorney does too. Is he doesn't need to do anything but poke enough holes into the whole thing
make some doubt, right?
that you get her off for as little as possible. That's his job.
Yeah, his job. Yeah, his job is not to prove it was him. His job is only to prove that it was possibly him, and they really can't refute that
They don't.
possibility.
There's a bunch of things they don't have enough information on, largely because apparently the police fucking failed, along with all the other.
I mean,
people's
isn't it a
systems.
slam dunk of like, obviously she's mentally unwell. It's highly documented that she had psychosis. Why would she be treated for it if she wasn't psychotic? Obviously, this is a case of mental health problem.
They're trying to prove that at the time, the state is trying to prove that at the time she was calm, quiet, rational, logical.
Why would they do that?
Well, that is a
that?
good question. Like,
They believe
why
that
are you prosecuting this
was
woman for this?
premeditated. Yeah, I mean, who believes
They're
that?
saying that she deliberately got him out of the house to get the Miralax and the takeout. That she was having a normal day. Like, she waited until she had the moment to do it, and then somehow she, in like an extremely short period of time, did a lot of activities and actions. Which again, did she really? Like, she moved a bed. She did terrible things to her children. She like cut her wrist. She jumped up. She did a lot of stuff. But then again, she is a mother. We're good at doing a lot of stuff fast.
Jesus Christ.
But no, like, why are they prosecuting her?
I don't understand that. I guess you have to, but you charge them with something at least you think that they did or that you can prove. But
Yeah, how can you prove that she's doing it? She's documented for postpartum psychosis and being treated for it, and on drugs that cause psychosis half the time.
yeah, and on record weaning off of one that's
And
giving you dark thoughts.
no one is there. Like, no one's there with the psychosis meter in the moment.
Yeah.
But like, it stands to reason she might be psychotic in the moment.
I don't even know that like trying to get him out of the house is evidence that she wasn't psychotic.
Well, right.
You can have perfectly rational thoughts alongside perfectly irrational thoughts when you're psychotic.
Yes.
It's a very that is one of the strangest things about this to me. And I guess she'll get off. My guess is.
I hope she gets off. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she's guilty of murder. Certainly.
Yeah. Poor woman. Poor. I mean,
she suffered. She suffered. Honestly, that's the thing that wigs me about this is like, that is the pinnacle of human suffering, I think.
Yeah.
And she's there's nothing else you can do to her that
there's
matters.
no reason to do anything at all. I mean, give her a chance. The generous thing is to give her a chance to try to live a life, to build something.
Yeah.
Back.
Find some sort of peace.
Right. And give back or participate in something that, slightly gives you some solace. He moved to New York City and got remarried, which is, neither here nor there.
Well, he had never been to New York before, so he probably just wanted to go there to find out what all the rage was.
He used to go for 4 months at a time for his work trips. Or that's fake. I mean, I don't know. I haven't fact checked anything about this.
How do I get a job where I can go live in New York for 4 months at a time?
You don't
Look, I have no choice.
You're not married to me.
What? I mean, you can't come home on the weekends? New York is very close to Massachusetts.
He's I don't know. He's an engineer. It's a bunch of BS.
Give me a break. Okay.
Maybe
we shouldn't comment on this stuff because who knows what of it is just.
I could all be fake, right? I mean, maybe they were swingers. I don't know. The whole thing. It's all. Probably 85% of the content I'm consuming.
Yeah, it's just completely made up.
Lies.
Yep.
Yep. So I'm here to report them to you, listener.
So yes, the red diaper pail is on team. He did it. Not
No,
her.
we're on team. I'm mostly on anti-prosecution, anti-police. That team.
Yeah,
which is usually the
100%,
team.
100%. Someone should be in prison for deciding to prosecute her for this.
Yeah, but they have a woman as leading the cause.
Yeah, of
who
course.
wears really weird hair bows.
Well,
but that's
she's
also
a prosecutor assigned. She's not the
I
one.
know.
Who
Well, they were like
decided to
definitely. They're
press
like, we
charges.
got to pick a woman.
Of course,
Right.
Of course.
But why does she wear the weird hair bows? And did she say shut her up when Lindsay was sobbing, or did she say shut off the mic? Because there was a hot mic moment, and the judge got upset and was like, "I will have none of that." And the defense attorney was like, really played it. He is fun. He's fun to watch.
Who,
If you-
the judge?
Kevin Reddington, I think his name is. No, the defense attorney.
Yeah. So I was going to say the reason why the prosecutor is a woman is the same reason why the defense attorney is a man. Also, the reason why you like him.
Wait, because I like men. I hate women. Explain.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I hate women.
It can't be.
Heard it here first, folks.
It can't be. He's not. He cannot be a woman.
Oh,
part
'cause
of
then
the
it'd be too
cabal of
sympathetic.
witches.
Yeah.
Who don't care what's true
No,
or
they
false.
picked like a rough 50-year-old white guy.
Yeah.
Who's like really kind of like criminal defense attorney esque, especially of Massachusetts, like South Shore, North Shore. Where is it? Duxbury, South Shore. And then the woman is a strange one. She might have said shut her up. I'm on team shut her up.
We can all agree that the prosecutor did it.
Obey your commands
All right, that's
Grab
it.
at the
On to the artifact.
with both of your hands. But candles will burn, and time will reveal all that you've done and the money you steal. The suffering you're causing gives you no pause for thought. You got your claws in the dead summer's heart.